Well, hi guys, welcome back. This is part 2 of this little engraving script tutorial overview thingy. Most people probably just want to write their name, so they're the capitals that you really need to have a look at. And writing them out a few times and just getting some practice with those techniques that we looked at are going to get you pretty good results reasonably quickly. And if you can write them out with a biro, and then when you put your burr down, you're going to find that you're going to pick it up reasonably quickly. I hope you do anyway. I teach a fair bit of engraving, and most people do. You find too that on a square surface like a cigarette case or a lighter or something, a tool, if you draw out your lines on a bit of an angle, they're going to look a lot nicer, and it's a lot nicer and easier to get it nicely centered than if you draw it straight. If we draw this up nice and straight here, it still can be done, but getting it centered and do the same name there, getting it centered that way and getting it centered the other way, it looks okay, but you've got a lot of dead space up in the right hand corner, whereas on the one with the curve, it's really quite pleasing to the eye. So that's a good tip for a quick and easy layout. You really don't need to worry too much about getting it in the middle or getting it spaced right. That's the best way to do it, is just draw everything on a bit of an angle. That way your letters are all pointing upward. You probably need to talk a bit about slope too. Slope's important to make things look nice. It doesn't matter much how much slope, but it wants to be uniform slope, so everything needs to be sloped the same way along the page. That's what's important. And generally what I do is draw a couple of lines across something that fit the space, and then slope it so that it's upright. Capitals are pretty straightforward, and they can be overused in this alphabet. This is a basic look at the letters I use, and I'll draw them all out, but they are really quite basic. A J and a K, and an L is just two loops like that, and an M. Generally it's nicer just to space the M and the W down to the middle in the centre. Otherwise your letter becomes too wide and it looks out of place. The P is a backwards curve, of course, and a bit of a loop in the middle to continue it through sort of helps. A Q is just an O with a line across it. The T really wants the line to follow through past the upright, or it looks like a J. U and V and W just up to the middle again. X and the Y is really just the same as the lowercase, a bit more curve in it. And a Z. So they're your capitals, and unless you're putting a name in, you really don't need to put too many capital letters in a sentence. It looks nice sometimes to, especially in heraldry, to use capitals, but a much simpler form than these, and sometimes you capitalise each word. In a verse of a poem you capitalise every line, but that's pretty straightforward. Monograms tend to look better, a little bit simpler rather than a little bit more ornate. Bright cut engraving with gravers and sharp chisel is the best way to cut monograms, and always will be. This is a pocket watch I've done recently, last week maybe, and it looks good. It's balanced. Everything looks fantastic on it, but the problem of course with monograms is that not all letters are balanced, so leave well enough alone on that unless you've got something drawn out. This is on a stainless steel knife. It looks great. I really like this. It's a nice present for someone. The bottom line's on a bit of an angle, like I said before, with the slope is pointing upright or pointing straight across the work. That just breaks it up and it finishes the end without it looking like it just landed there. The problem with knives in particular is that the top edge and the bottom edge are never ever parallel, so if you can do something like this, either with a bit of a curve around the top or on a bit of an angle across the bottom, then you're not going to notice so much that it's not straight to both surfaces. So that's something to look out for. I guess the beauty of using a script like this is that you do tend to be able to do multiple works the same. These all look pretty much the same. They're not. In fact, there's quite a lot of differences if you look really closely. Something that I have done here is put a little shooting star at the end of each line of text. Now that's not just for looks. There actually is a practical reason for that. The main reason is that I don't have to worry about setting them out in lines and marking the ends and the middles of each line of text. If we start it where it looks like it's going to start and finish it where it finishes, then we can pad the end out or squeeze the end up by putting that star on there, and it looks like it's in the middle whether it is or not. So that's why that's done. These are trophy plates and we do lots and lots and lots of these, so it's something that you really need to be down pat with and to be able to produce matching writing every time. So that's where a basic alphabet like that's really good. This is another example of where not quite perfect writing, and it's done in a bit of a hurry. Notice there's a couple of dots missing off the eyes, and things are almost in the centre. Punctuation tends to work the same as the shooting star, just to get everything right in the middle and looking good. But this looks great, and there you are, guys. That's a way to win friends and influence people. If you're looking for a present for the other half, well, this looks like it would probably work. But that's a plate I've done this week too. So anyway, that's the end of part 2. Thanks for watching, and hope you've been able to sit through all this and maybe even learnt something. But really appreciate feedback on this, and more soon, guys.